Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel. And if you want to know if your hard drive is partitioned or if it's divided into different partitions for different things, sometimes partitions don't show up in the File Explorer because they could be hidden partitions. And of course, you might have multiple drives also showing up in the File Explorer and wonder, is that one drive that is partitioned into several drives that show up in File Explorer, or is it several drives in reality? Sometimes you might not be sure how all of that is actually done. So to know all of that information, simply go to the disk management. Right-click in Windows 10 and Windows 11, you right-click on this PC in the File Explorer. In Windows 10, you will have Manage just below the Expand. In Windows 11, you show more options, and you go into Manage. And here, you will have Storage and Disk Management. So if you have one drive on your PC, it's going to show up. If you have multiple drives, it's going to show up also. If it's one drive divided into different partitions, it's all going to be there showing up. So here, for example, my disk 0 shows up like this. You have disk 0, which is the basic drive. This is the C drive that we see, and it's divided into different partitions, as you see here. One is a 260 here, which is the system partition. Then there's the main partition where all my Windows files and everything is on, and all the files are. This is what I see in my File Explorer. Then there's another 850 recovery partition here, and there's a 17.5 gigabyte recovery partition here, basic data partition. What's that? In my case, it's probably the recovery from the Asus laptop itself. So if I were to really want to clean up this drive completely and have only Windows, take all of it, I could, if I want, remove all the partitions and recreate one big drive. There is always a small partition for the EFI system partition. So even on a standard drive that's not partitioned in any way, doesn't have recovery, you will at least have two partitions. You will always have a small partition, which is the system partition for the boot up, for starting up basically. And then you'll have the main partition with the Windows and all your files on them. So depending on how it is. If your drive was partitioned in two, it always shows on the same line as the disk number. So disk 0 is divided into 4 different partitions actually. So it's one and the same drive. If you had more than one drive, then it would show up as disk 2 or 3. In my case here, I have USB removable drive, which shows up here as disk 3. So if you would have, for example, 2 times 1 terabyte, and it would be 2 drives, it will show up as disk 0 and disk 1, each having 1 terabyte in space. And depending on how your PC was actually built, you'd see all the different allocations in the partitions. So this is how it works, and of course all of that can be removed and changed. When you have Windows, you have the possibility to remove partitions and do things like that, but most of the time I would recommend not to touch or play too much with partitions within the disk management itself. If you want to reallocate or recover a full drive from scratch, I would recommend that you actually boot up from a USB, from a Windows image. And with that Windows image, there you could actually use the setup process and actually remove everything and reallocate all of it to one drive if you want. And of course, when you install Windows, the first options that show up when you want to do a complete reinstall, they have the options to partition it the way that you want, divide the disk in 2 or 3 different partitions, and do what you want. But the disk management here, it tells you and shows you how all of that is set up, and shows you, of course, the hidden partitions. For example, I have C, I can see E, and this drive here is not plugged in, so that's why it doesn't say no, it says no media. But you don't see that it's divided in 4 when you look at the File Explorer. It tells me I just have a C drive and that's it. But with the disk management, you'll know how all of that is divided on the drive, on your main drive. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.